Hello, this is Raina with Lilo Crafts coming on today as part of the Saturday Morning Makes open collaboration hosted by Jillian Norwood, who is Jill here on YouTube. I will put a link to her channel in the description box below so that you can follow her if you aren't already. But she is the absolute gingerbread queen right now in this holiday season. And so I am coming on today with a gingerbread project as well, and it is utilizing Dollar Tree items. We're going to be making something out of these foam sheets that come from the Dollar Tree. I was given these by Tammy, who is My World in OKC. And so as you can see, I've made two different versions of Gingerbread Girls today, and we're going to be making this one next, but I just thought I would walk you through them in case you just wanted to see this part and not the process. So I gave them both tulle bows and little pom-poms and jingle bells for the topping of their bows. They have sweet eyes and fun cheeks, also made with Dollar Tree stickers. They've got great icing details. They have tulle skirts. Both of these tools came from the Dollar Tree, and they have pom-pom accents, and they've got bows, and this one has gingerbread cookie, and this one has another bow. So they are super sweet and easy to make. I am going to be using these for my Christmas tree for ornaments. So they are really nice size, and I have put a cardboard in the middle of them so that they are they're not so flexible, so that they're more firm and can actually be stood up inside of my Christmas tree. Now, you could add an ornament hanger to them if you wanted, or you could just use them as display, or if you wanted to put them as a giant tag on a card, you could do that as well. But I'm going to use them as ornaments. So if you'd like to see how I made it, then stay tuned, and we're going to jump on in, and we're going to make this one together today. Okay, let me first go over the items that you're going to need for the project. So you're going to need a base for your gingerbread. And again, this is what they look like inside of there. And you're going to need two of these gingerbreads for your project. You're going to need some kind of cereal box or cardboard or chipboard that you have for the middle to strengthen her. You're going to need a pencil to kind of maybe draw the face or draw the mouth, or certainly to trace the outline and to cut it out. You're going to need some glue. You'll need some hot glue. I used a white jelly roller pen and some white Nouveau drops. And also I used some black stickles. But again, you could use a marker for all of this. You wouldn't have to use these drops if you didn't want. You need some scissors. I use this Tim Holtz walnut stain to darken up the edges. Again, optional. And I just used one of these Dollar Tree makeup sponges to apply it. You're going to need some tulle for the outfit. And you're going to need some pom-poms or any kind of decoration that you want to go ahead and use for the dress or for her little blingy in the middle. So just some kind of decorations. And you'll need something for her cheeks, which could be blush. It could be a marker, or I'm going to be using these Dollar Tree stickers for my project. And I'm going to use some little white pom-poms. Also going to use a face stamp for the eyes, but you could just put them in as bling drops or as Nouveau drops or anything that you have. But I am going to use this face die, which is from the KS Craft Store for my project. Okay, so I'm going to clear this all off and we will get started. Okay, so the first thing I did was I took the gingerbread, took one of these, and I put it on top of my cereal box, and then I just traced it, and I went ahead and cut it out. And then what I'm going to do is glue one of these gingerbreads onto this back. And I'm going to just use this Beacon Foam and Poster Board adhesive. I am really loving this glue. It seems to really hold super well. Okay, I've got my gingerbread here, my 1 my one tip is when you trace your gingerbread onto the cardboard, what you want to do is cut on the inside of the line. If you cut right on the line, it's going to be slightly larger than your gingerbread and you'll have to do a lot of trimming. So just cut on the inside of the line and you'll have to do less trimming. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to take my walnut stain and I'm going to put it on my makeup dauber, and I'm just going to go around the edges of the gingerbread. And this is optional. You totally don't have to do this. I just thought it maybe would look a little bit more like it was baked in the oven, where it's a little bit browner on the edges, more brown on the edges than it is in the middle. Okay, there you go. So I've got the gingerbread all inked up over here. And now I'm ready to start the next thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make her dress first. And I am going to basically do the reverse here. I'm going to put red on the top and the white on the bottom. So you need to just pull off a piece of the tulle. Probably about 12 inches is what I used last time. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut it on off. And it does not have to be exact. Okay, so you're going to take your tulle and you're going to fold it in half. And you're going to keep the finished edge, the folded edge on the bottom. Fold this edge under. And then I'm going to make my first pleat. So she has a finished edge. And I am going to staple. Okay, so that's my first pleat. Then I'm just going to go to the next one. Like that, and staple. And I'm going to do that all the way down. Okay, when you've got it all stapled, it should look something like this. And again, on the ends, you want to make sure you turn them under behind it so that the finished edge will show on the dress. And you can see that this is going to work just perfectly for her. So what I am going to do is I'm going to then take my hot glue gun to attach this, and I'm going to put it right underneath her arms. And I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue at a time, and then I'm going to go ahead and just push this right on into the hot glue. Okay, and once you've got that glued on, it should look like that. And then now I'm going to go ahead and make the top part of her dress. I am going to cut this one maybe about 6 inches in length. And again, I'm just going to cut it straight across. Okay, so now I've got my 6-inch tulle, and I am going to do the same thing. I am going to fold this in half so I have a finished edge, and then I am going to take the corner underneath, and I'm going to make just a hair of a pinch right there and clip that. And then I'm going to go to the other end, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay, perfect. Now all I'm going to do is take my glue gun, and I'm going to just start gluing this in. So put a little glue right here on top, and I'm going to put this down right here. So I'm going to go over here onto this side, glue this part of the dress in. Now all I'm going to do is just work this in and just glue it in. Okay, so this is what it should look like. It's just glued on in there with hot glue. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is make the bow for her hair. And I'm going to do that just so that I know how big the bow is and where to stamp her eyes for her face. So I'm going to use the same 2 tools that I have over here just to tie it all together. And you can use anything. You don't even have to do a tulle bow. You definitely don't have to do a tulle bow. You can do anything you want. About 3 inches in width, and I'm going to just cut straight down the tulle. So now you've just got a 3-inch strip of tulle, and all I'm going to do is fold back and forth like this. I'm going to make tiny little pleats to hold it in place. And then I'm going to just cut a little piece of twine. You can use anything that you have, any kind of scrap that you have. And I'm going to just tie it off in the middle. Is take a strip of this red tulle. I'm going to do the very same thing. And this time I'm just going to cut it a little bit smaller, maybe about 2.5 inches, or you're just going to cut straight down and you're going to do the very same thing for this. Okay, So it just looks like that. It's the very same thing. Excuse all this glue on my fingers, the hot glue on my fingers. So, okay. So now you've got both bows. Okay, now I've got my bow hot glued together, and I've got her bow kind of positioned on her head where I want it. And so I'm just going to put a little pencil mark just about there where I think that her eyes could go. My face stamp, and I'm going to go ahead and just put her face on. Now, what I have done is I have cut apart these stamps so that I can use them. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp her face and be right back. Okay, now I have her eyes stamped over there. Then I'm going to take my little jelly roll pen and I am going to color in the whites of her eyes right there. All right, and the other thing I'm going to do is just draw a little bit of white between her eyelashes. Okay, so next I'm going to put some cheeks on so I know where I want her mouth to go. And these are the cheeks that I'm using, these stickers from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use hot glue in a bit to actually glue them down. And then I'm just going to draw in her smile in between these two cheeks. Her smile drawn in. There you go. Just really lightly with pencil because I'm going to go over that with some black stickles at the end. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is finish off her dress. And you're just going to need a little bit of ribbon to cover that. Okay, next I'm going to finish off her dress, and I'm just going to take this thin striped ribbon, and I am going to go over the top of her dress, and I am going to hot glue that onto the back over here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is, now that we've got her dress and the ribbon all attached, we're going to make a tulle bow for the background. And so I'm going to use a little bit of the red tulle, I think, to make this little tulle bow. And all you're going to need is 1.5 inches of tulle this time. You're going to do the very same thing, accordion folded up and down, and then tie it off with a piece of string, and then we will attach it here. Okay, I've got my little tulle bow made, and I'm just going to put a dab of hot glue on the back, and I'm going to put it right in here in the middle. And then I'm going to put a bow on top of it this time. You can use another tulle bow like I did over here, or you can just put a piece of decor on here. You can do anything that you want. You can put a flat back cabochon right on there, but I am just going to glue a bow right on top. Okay, so we've got our double bow put in place right there, and this time I think what I'm going to use is just a pom-pom to top it off, to tie everything together. So I'm just going to put a little dab of glue, and I'm going to put just a little pom-pom right there. Okay, so the next step is to make her little icing. I am going to use rickrack so that I get a really pretty, perfect up and down for the icing. So I am just going to measure and then just cut off a piece and then just glue it down right onto the crooks, onto both the arms and the legs, and I'll be right back. I've got all my rickrack attached. Now, if you had white rickrack, then, you could be done. You don't have to color it over with Nuvo, but I am going to use Nuvo drops to color those in. But I'm first going to finish putting all the things on before I start doing the Nuvo drops, okay? So as you can see over here, I went over it with Nuvo drops, and it gives it a nice raised look, and it really looks like icing. So I'm really happy with the way that turned out. So I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, so I hot glued the bow to the top of her head, and I glued 3 little pom-poms and a little bell. And then now I'm going to go ahead and glue a bow onto her neck. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is just go ahead and cover up the back. So you're just going to glue another one of these on. Okay, so next all I'm going to do is take my stickles or my black Nuvo, and I'm going to create the mouth. I'm going to do a little bit of glitter on the eyelashes. And I'm going to take my white Nouveau and fill in actually the rickrack. And this is how she turned out. Thank you so much for watching my channel. And if you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you subscribe. And I hope you have an amazing day.